Go on. Oh, we're live. Hey, everyone. This is Real and Raw with Lynn Serrano. And who are you?
I'm Brian, that other guy.
You know, it's almost a month. I think I'm getting it. Hi, Brian. Welcome.
Hello.
Oh, my goodness. That was weird trying to start the show today. I was like, come on, are we going to have a problem or what? So we are here.
It's called procrastination for today's topic. That's what it is.
Oh, wait. Is today procrastination? Did I?
No. Like on what we're talking about today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, you mean the topic of what qualities make for a real great relationship?
Correct.
Yeah, it's funny because you asked me to do homework last night and Lynn didn't do no homework. I ended up going to sleep like early. I put my phone on notification.
Why didn't you do your homework, Lynn?
Oh, hey, Sandy, thanks for being
Sandra.
here. Oh my gosh, I'm getting yelled at because I didn't do no homework.
No, there's no. I'm just saying so that we can be clear and it's not like, okay, we're looking for qualities, not books.
Quantity. Not quotes. Oh yeah. Darn it. You mean I didn't have time to go Google?
We have well, if you're looking for the answer on Google, I
know I need help.
Just kind of like when you go on social to look at something, or like for me, the guy that started me on my walks, he was a mentor. I go there to report, doing the walk for today, and then I forget what I did, what I was there to go do, and I found something else, and then I had to go back again.
I was gonna say, why do you think I'm 55 and I'm single?
All the more reason why we're spending the next several weeks on relationships. Maybe we can move the needle forward a little bit for you in Montana. Maybe.
Oh, so now I'm getting this. You're only doing the show to help that one person, and it happens to be the co-host.
You're just seeing that now?
Again, why do you think I started the show, and who are you?
Yeah, after the next month, we'll evaluate if we're going to do this show, because once Lynn finds that special someone, then her show might be done.
Oh, heck no.
Just kidding.
I'm just telling them, hey, there's you and me, and then there's my show with Brian, okay?
Yeah.
We're going to keep that real.
Now that I have my guy, I don't need you anymore.
Yeah, not true.
Okay,
Oh
so backstage, Lynn and I were talking about today, and it's just like, okay, we've established a definition of a relationship, and hopefully you're tracking with us. And then yesterday we had an involved discussion about acquaintances, and Lynn, you got some comments about how interesting it was from one of our viewers. So thank you all. This show doesn't really make any sense, or it doesn't make any difference if you're not here to track for yourselves in your life about how this could help you. I need to point out one of my grooms, who is one of my grooms and longtime friends, that I've taken my knowledge about craft beer and I've put it on him, and now he's just a monster when it comes to trying different types of beers. And he sent me a private message thanking me for are you doing a podcast? And he's on the road a lot every day for his job. And so, Justin, thank you for checking our show out. And he's got a lot of work time on the road and driving, so he likes talk radio for that kind of thing. So he was checking out our show yesterday, and then this morning, because he has to wake up early some days, he was going to check out our definition of relationship show on Monday. So
nice.
Thank you for watching our show, tuning in, and he loves to get different perspectives on things. And so and man, I love you. I love your wife Amanda and your children, and we just have great times whenever we get together for games or to have grill outs, or you blame me when the Packers lose. So I'm glad for that.
Shout out. So what team does he like?
Well, he loves the Packers, but it just so happens that he blames their losses, You know, like they could not lose a game all season, but then when I go there, they lose, and then he blames it on me. So,
Oh yeah, my son-in-law used to do that to my ex-boyfriend. Used to say, "Please, please don't stop watching," because he loves the Packer. My son-in-law here loves the Packer.
So in short, Justin, if you're watching this, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being running across our little dog and pony show here that we're calling Raw and Real with Lynn and Brian. And
you almost forgot your name. You almost forgot your own name. You were like Lynn and Brian.
Yeah, I'd rather have it be scratched out and really not sure.
Oh, stop. You're so cute.
Anyhow, Justin, thank you for watching. Moving on with the show.
Thank you, Justin, for watching. You drive safe. So he's a trucker?
Yeah, he works for a uniform company, so he makes stops at all these different places. So it's like in between doing his runs and all of that for the products that he delivers, you know, then he's driving all over. So, you know, I could only imagine, like, you know, the starting and stopping, like what you would need to stimulate your brain, you know?
Yeah.
So I know some days he's on the road by like 2:30 in the morning.
So. Wow. So a lot of goofiness we got going on here, but we love it. We love it. And I hope you do too.
You got a comment or two from somebody about the interesting topic yesterday.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Homework, Lynn. Write down the man you want. You know, it's funny. It's
Thank
true.
you, Sandra, for bringing that up. I'll add that to our sheet of topics to talk about.
Oh man. Oh, but 6 minutes in, Lynn's blushing over here. Oh, smack.
It's not fast enough. Like, I think we're up to 36 seconds, so it's not fast enough.
Oh, smack, man. No, you know, it's true. I've got to work on that. Yeah, I just know, I guess the thing is I know that once I put down my ideal guy, he's going to show up. I'm just not ready for him right now.
Oh, boy. She's ready to play the field. Montana, watch out.
Shut up. Yeah, well, whatever.
Anyways,
stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Next time she orders a pizza, she's going to have a story about the pizza delivery guy.
Oh, don't even go there, man. You scared me.
Okay.
I'll be telling them, are you still doing that? You know what? Here in Montana, believe it or not, they're opening up restaurants now, and like full capacity restaurants, and having masks are kind of optional, but you know, whatever. And like the bars are open till 10 now. So
what is Montana up to? Like 8 people? You know what?
No, we got a lot of Californian people moving in.
Well,
yeah.
They're going everywhere else besides California.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna call them roaches, but you know, when roaches get on the run, they're running. They're running.
So I just have to share this, otherwise I'll forget about it. That's how my brain works. So before we get into the topic of our 5 qualities for each of us, is just imagine, Lynn, that all of a sudden, speaking of people that come from California, this beach body guy with a tan and a build, and you see him at the bar when you're doing karaoke, and it's like, hey, how you doing?
Maybe I should go to a bar this weekend. Maybe.
Yes. Yes, you need to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe I'll go to a bar this weekend. Who knows?
And I it's not coming to me yet, but I know the exact cocktail you should start off with.
Oh, okay. All right. That's good to know. That could start some kind of great relationship, maybe.
You got to start somewhere.
I guess so. We're gonna start somewhere.
Hi.
Damn! I should have never said. I should have never said I'm 55. I should have never said I'm 55 and dating. I should have never told you that. Should have left that out of my resume.
It wouldn't have mattered. It would have surfaced regardless. It wouldn't have mattered.
Oh,
hi.
Shoot!
My name is John. I'm from Sacramento.
Oh, you had to mention in California. I got friends in California. I better stop. I better stop.
Okay, so let's get to it. So for today's show, we're going to talk about relationships. So we did the definition on day 1, acquaintances yesterday. Now we're going to go into qualities that we think about relationships. And these are in no particular order, but the numbers thing kind of really just defines it and keeps it clear. So for each of us, Lynn and I came up with 5 different qualities that, and they're in no particular order. There's obviously more, but it's like when we look at relationships, personal and professional, 5 things that really stand out to us in terms of our definition of what makes a relationship. So, Lynn, what is your number 5?
Yeah. He's got me dreaming. All right.
Oh
That's
yeah.
why. That's why I had to take off my list. Cute, handsome, blonde. No, tall. No, never mind. We better stop. Um,
Well, the truth of the matter is that you hit it on the head, Lynn. Is that if you take action on that, you probably will find somebody. So,
yeah,
just
I
saying.
know. Because you know what they say: be careful what you wish for. Just be careful. You might get what you want.
Or
So
careful what you put on that notepad, what you write on there.
yeah, exactly. I did put down stuff, and I couldn't believe that the first thing that I would want is the last thing I wrote. First thing I put, or the last thing I put on is communication.
Okay.
That's really important to me. Respect.
Hold on a second. We're going to
What?
unpack each one of these. We're not just going to go through, each one at a time.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
so number 1 is going to be the most important, but which one is a part of that top 5, but maybe not the most important to you? So let's start with 5 and go all the way down to 1. So
They're
what's your
all
number 5?
important. No, I can't do that. They're all like number one importance to me.
Okay.
I mean, like, I can't put. I'm gonna end up telling you my list before you want me to, because
No, just one
the
at a
less
time.
important.
Go through one at a time.
No, they're all super important. They're all number one. So number one, I'm gonna tell you all of them, all 5, because they're all number one to me.
Then our show will be done in 2 seconds. You can't do that. Go with 1. Go with 1 out of 5.
I'll go
with
1,
5.
but don't tell me. But don't tell me it's the least important. Don't tell me that. Come on, can we compromise here, Brian?
We can, but just give me one quality.
One quality. Okay, I can do that, but no specifications to the qualities, because I don't want them in any. These are not in any right order. But the first one would be
we're going to do
communication.
5 qualities, but in no particular order.
Yes, thank you. So let's just start with my last one though, which is communication.
Okay. All right.
And what about you?
No, we got to explain each of these. This isn't going to help our viewership if we just have one-word answers.
Okay. Okay.
So what about communication? What about it makes for a great relationship?
Communication. Oh, I gotta say hi to people here. Hey, hi everybody. I'm stalling.
Golly.
This is called a stalling tactic. Yeah. Anyways, communication. The importance of communication to me is understanding that if there's a misunderstanding, we should talk about it. Communication in our tones and tonality, communication as far as oh look, I guess I say hi to somebody else. Hi, thanks for being here, Karen. Communication. Thanks, you guys. Keep writing stuff down so I have some stalling tactics here. Help me out.
We only have an hour, Lynn.
Oh my goodness, you guys got to help me here. Speaking of being on the hot seat, I guess Thursday I'm going to be on a podcast with Pamela Aubrey. I'm kind of nervous about that, being on the other side of things, you guys. So thank you, Karen. Okay, so as far as communication, see, I think what's really important about communication is that we understand each communication style, because like for me, when I'm upset, I wait a little bit. With somebody else, they may be quick response, and I wait a little bit because I want to make sure that I don't come off the cuff, and and then I not confirm. Oh, there's Pam. Hey, keep talking, Lynn. Yeah, hi, Pam. And so, hi, Lori. Hey, Lori. Thank you all for being here, you guys. But yeah, communication as far as what style, I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody that's just gonna speak everything that's on their mind. It's better not to do that with me. So the communication style is important to me.
Okay.
I hope that makes sense.
My first one is going to be humor. If you don't have humor or laughter, I don't think that you really can be yourself. I think that for those that are more, we are more humorous or filled with laughter than we think we are. What we tell ourselves is that if we just get rid of all the judgments and self-limiting beliefs, all of us have a sense of humor. We just may not use it or know that it's there. Just like when somebody says, I'm not a good storyteller. Well, yeah, because you're putting yourself at that high level that it has to look a certain way, or it has to be movie worthy, right? So
Right.
humor and laughter, because for me, I'll go into rooms of people that I don't know, and I do it on a regular basis. That is my comfort zone. And if I can be the person to ignite their fun and their humor, and then I back away, that's one of the greatest gifts ever, because they didn't know that they could go there. They didn't know that this was a safe place to be. And so if I can facilitate humor and laughter and make myself the guinea pig and put it all on me, I'll do it in a heartbeat, because I know what'll be created as a result of that.
I love that.
Yeah. So
Well, you see, and you're right, Sandy. That's why I didn't even, that's not even on my list, because that goes without saying.
yeah.
Seeking to understand humor is a second nature. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sandy. So yeah.
Love it getting rid of, what would that say? Love it getting rid of self. Absolutely. Yep.
Absolutely, Karen. Karen, thank you so much for writing that down. Thank you guys for interacting with us. You're helping me out, guys. I owe you. I don't know what I owe you yet, but we'll talk about it after the show, okay?
All right. So you had communication. I had humor or laughter. What's your second one? What's your second quality?
My respect.
Okay.
That's really important as far as respecting my boundaries, or respecting me, respecting our relationship, respecting the time of it. Yeah, man, you're making me think of all this stuff. So yeah, but respect is really important. Obviously, I lack that in a few of my relationships. Not the last one though, but just in general, yeah. Respect.
Would you say mutual respect, or would you say you give people an amazing amount of respect and it's not reciprocated? Or
I just think well, respect would be too, is like, I may be a flirt. Yeah, I've been guilty of that myself. But in a relationship, I wouldn't be like flirting with somebody in front of somebody, or I wouldn't disrespect who I'm with flirting with somebody, because to me that's disrespect. That's not, that's not what you should do. So,
okay.
So I think it's mutual. I think that's what you were asking me, if it was mutual respect, public respect, just total respect, and all, respect of my time, not being late.
Yeah.
I mean, those are all, it's huge for me. Yeah. It's huge. So, I mean, truly respect of, well, gee, how's this going to impact Lynn? Or, how is this in relationship to my relationship with Lynn? I mean, those are huge to me. So, yeah. And you?
Yeah. Yeah, that respect is such a huge thing, especially now that we're working virtually and we can very easily make excuses about how we feel, or, my computer crashed, or who knows what. It doesn't mean that what you're doing changes. Everything must go on, and you find a way. Transparency for me, absolutely, Karen. I love that. So
I love that too.
So for me, it kind of ties into transparency, but being real, or the one word, just real, authentic, is that you show up as you are. You don't apologize for who you are. You're not going out of your way to make people wrong. There's a distinction there for me, is that you're just being who you're being, unapologetically you. And if somebody doesn't like you for who you are, it's probably not going to go very well.
Yeah.
And we've both been in relationships. I've never been married, but I can tell you this much, is that when you sacrifice who you really are, and all of a sudden you emerge back to who you are, I'll never sacrifice myself again for any person, ever.
Right.
What you see is what you get, and that's it. Because authentic self, unapologetic. Absolutely. If you don't take a stand for who you are, you're going to fall for whoever somebody else makes you to be. And as I realized, 100%.
I was wondering what those are. 100%. I love it, Karen.
I don't think we ever got 300% before in a comment.
I know. I love it. I know. Thank you,
We're
Karen.
getting in the emojis. We're getting emojis now.
I know. I love it.
So, but it's what I realize is that when I met, my ex in 2014, and then we broke it off in 2018. Is that like, holy crap, was I in a dumpster fire in my own brain, and I lost all of my belief in myself, my authenticity, my rebellious nature. I mean, I am a teddy bear on the inside, but I got a hard shell, and it's based on character and integrity. But I realize is that I couldn't be myself. And once I
Yeah.
realized that after coming out of the dumpster fire, I'm never going to go back there. Never.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree.
Yeah.
I
So your
can't.
next one.
My next one.
Yeah.
Energy.
Ah, very cool. Yep.
Energy is the vibe, just if there's that magic. And I mean, I've had that magic a couple times in my life and I love it. So that energy is really, really, I could tell stories, but I'll stand myself and turn really red. So, but like my first husband, I mean, like I met him and it was like love at first sight. And it was magic, and it's just that energy, just when you got that vibe, oh man, yeah. So energy is important.
Was what now to dive a little bit deeper, because to me that's a little conceptual. What when you get energy from somebody, what is it? Is it how they talk to you? Is it how they look? What was it about that made that energy just on fire and possibly unexplainable? It was just there.
Well, I'm gonna go to my reviewer here, Karen. Yeah, I agree. Energy is a must. Well, the energy basically energy is just a lot of things. It's just the joy. I mean, like I'm not saying you got to have a resting bitch face or something like that, or mean face, or just, grumpy or anything like that.
Oh my God, that's the word of this whole show: resting bitch face.
Because guys can give some resting bitch faces, man. Like it's scary.
Yes, Karen, absolutely.
Yes, it's scary. How you feel exactly, how they feel and how they make you feel being around them. I mean, if they carry themselves in a way that gosh, I love having you guys here. It just the how they make anybody else feel being in the room, like just a magnetic, just a charisma, just a sense of friendly, kind, approachable, just it just and mind you, this is different than those guys that look at me for just one thing. That's just different energy. Seriously, let's keep that straight. But
absolutely,
energy makes you feel
like you were like their
whole world. Exactly. And I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the guy I was with for 9-10 years, I mean, he'd look at me in such a passionate way, just a caring way, and just the always like, wow. And I like that. But he was also very respectful of my space at times, I mean, because I needed that. I don't need an aggressive person, but just somebody that's approachable and kind. And so, yeah, the tone of feeling, yeah. Whole, yeah. Yeah. Hi, Pam. Thanks for watching.
Pam, thanks for being here.
Yeah, me and her both. Hey, you got to do the work with me, Pam. Me and Pam are both trying to find the ideal guy. So let's not. That's for a different show. But yeah, so yeah, just their energy of their kindness, their tenderheartedness, their demeanor, just as a whole. It just that's important to me. Anyways, I think
okay. So mine is going to be communication. I did 5 through 1. It doesn't really make any difference. But for me, it's like when I looked at it, it's like I've had several people kind of running through my head about, relationships are make or break or as a result of communication. And it's like, I get that, but in my mind, it's very important. But I think that in my mind and for my beliefs, there are two things that are more important, which will come. If you don't have a basis of communication, regardless of what it is, it's very easy to have the honeymoon phase. And then you move past where it's like, okay, now, like if it's a personal relationship or something private, long-standing type of thing, some people can certainly bring you down If you're not strong enough to take a stand, 100%,
Yeah.
100%.
And I think she's talking about when I said something about the energy, you
Sure,
know?
no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, when you're, I'm a very high energy type of person, and I'm a very direct person. If there's an upset or some kind of struggle, I want to, if it's something simple, I want to diffuse it right away so it's not in the space, right? And that's a learned behavior, in my opinion. It's also got to be something that if you don't put it out right now, there's a tendency it might manifest and build, to something
Right.
bigger. But I think that relationships can be simple if you get rid of the garbage, right? And one of the only, but it's also proactive, right? It's always in motion. If you do nothing, nothing happens, right? And so for me, I would rather remove the elephants in the room and
Yeah.
just get right into it, right? Face it head on. Have a conversation before it becomes almost impossible and maybe constraining to have with somebody, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
She
I
makes a good point here.
Nothing is worse than guessing. Oh, 100%. 100%. Thank you for sharing that, Pamela. Is one of the most difficult things I ever had to do is to tell my ex that it's like I can't read your mind.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Well,
it and it doesn't get any worse than when it's like when I'm busy in the office, she's at work, and oh, you could have brought me coffee. You could have brought me Dunkin' Donuts.
you didn't say nothing about it. Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean that is an example, and I don't want to frame that person in such a
Right.
way, but it
Right.
made me realize it's like, hey, I'm not you. I'm not in your skin.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I mean? And don't make that a negative for me because I can't read your mind. Nobody can read anybody else's mind, right?
Right.
Like
Right.
even
Yeah.
scientists can't read people's minds, even if they
No.
have the little, probes on their heads,
Yeah. You can only assume. You can only
Yeah.
assume, make
And
assumptions.
so
Yeah.
to make it like detrimental where it's like, oh, you could have at least brought me this or whatever. It's like, oh, but and I'm not a measurement type of person. You do this for me, I do that for you. I
Yeah.
just give freely,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Same here. Yeah.
But when it comes back to be like, wow, it just feels like a razor blade, like puncturing a little part of your side. You know what I mean? Like every
Right.
time where you were in your world doing your thing, apparently nothing was wrong, but now there is, right?
Right. Right.
You know,
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah. Communication is definitely something that and that's why the energy is important too with somebody, to me, right? To build on that for the communication. If the energy's right with somebody,
Right.
I can talk immediately with them and not have a communication problem. But when the energy is ugly,
Yeah.
then I can't communicate. I get catatonic. I cannot freaking talk. That's why if I don't feel like, if I don't have the energy where I feel like I could tell you all my deep darkest secrets, then
Now,
you
can you
and
give
which
can
brings me to this.
Karen
But
says,
I'm
I
sorry.
want to be able to become vulnerable in my absolutely 100%.
Absolutely, and that's
Now, can
yeah.
you give us all an example so we can really bring it on the court about, that toxicity of that kind of dynamic? Can you give
Yeah,
us an example of that?
yeah, I could.
If I can't read one's mind, then I end up reading the actions to so communicate. Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you want me from the perspective of a bad relationship to toxic?
Well, just like what you mentioned, like kind of give myself and the viewers and everybody that's with us, a deeper understanding about like when I want out of here. Like, what does that look like? What does that feel like? Give us a context.
Well, it's because when you're with somebody that's being toxic that way, and I have many times in my past, the problem is when you explain what your feelings are and what you're going through,
Okay.
what they do is they turn it around to about them. And when they turn it around, like when I say, you make me feel, and this is how I feel, well, I'm not that person or this and that. I said, I'm talking about what not from past relationships, but how you make me feel. And then you get defensive. And then it turns the reversal of defense, which is toxic, because what's the point of me telling you how you just made me feel if you feel that the way you made me feel, you're justified? That ain't kosher. That ain't cool.
Okay.
And And again, if their energy isn't to seeing what they did disrupted me and upset me, then their energy is not to understand bounce back to how they just made me feel.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why the energy is so important to me, on that level.
That helps myself, and hopefully for all of you that are watching today's show, and we thank you for being here. That really helps me understand from a context of, you're sharing your feelings and you're being vulnerable and open. Not only is the person not hearing you, right? But they're flipping it around. They're disregarding this is there for you, almost to the point where, it wasn't me, or blaming or excuses or not taking ownership, that it's like, okay, you made me, whatever you did made me feel this way. Number one, you're not being heard. So then you're going to continue to feel whatever you're going to feel. Right. But then to take ownership of it, they just deflect it. So I agree.
And Karen, I'd love to have more talks with you. I definitely would. That's exactly right. And the thing is like, I'll give you another example. There was an episode where it triggered me of abuse before.
Wow.
Okay. Sexual abuse. And they came at me that way. And I said, you triggered your behavior, that moment triggered something from my past. Right. And now hear what I said. I'll use you as an example, Brian. I would say to you, Brian, what you just did triggered something from my past, and I don't like that.
Yep.
Now, what he heard was about my past. He's not hearing that I told him it's what you just did to trigger something from my past, what you just did. So what happens there, it turns into you come out and say, well, I can't help your past. And I'm not like your past. So why are you saying anything about me being your past? It was a perpetual conversation. So I don't articulate back anymore or communicate no more, because the bottom line is he feels like he's defending himself and going back to, you have issues from the past. It's like, can you not hear that I said you did something that you've never done before that was not appropriate? You, mister. And I'm telling you how it triggers from the past.
Yeah.
But instead, dismissed that it had anything to do with him, and it dismissed the fact, well, I can't help what you had in your past. No, you can help how you just treated me.
Exactly.
That triggered me.
There it is.
So the communication is not, I'm talking about you. I don't have baggage from the past. I'm just saying you invoked a serious trigger, that something you did is something we can't do again, or reenact, or I'm uncomfortable with. And instead you taking it personal to you and going everywhere,
Yeah.
So good, Karen. I'd like that.
Yeah. You guys need to chat.
So
I'm a sexual assault survivor.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I thank you so much for being here. And I thank your vulnerability, because I know that's not easy.
Thank you for being here.
And yes. And I hope that, this year's my vulnerability. So this is coming out. So Brian, I thank you, because if you didn't do that, we couldn't communicate with Karen. So that means a lot. But seriously, I'm glad you're asking the right questions, because see, that's where communication is not only so important, but you got to tear down that conversation. I mean, if we could, tear down that conversation again to say, well, I did that, and he was totally wrong. And I don't care if he ever watches this or not, but he was totally wrong to say, well, I did that because, I didn't think you were giving me attention, and this and that. Like, it just all became about him. And, it's just one action control, or, so let me see. I called myself warrior of sexual assault now. There you go. There you go. Awesome. So anyways, that's just saying that if a person, and he would always say, Lynn, I hear everything you're saying. I listen to everything you're saying.
No.
I'm like, no, you don't, because I'm trying to tell you how you affected me, not my past, but the trigger. So it's listening. And when you're in a relationship, if things ain't going right and you can't articulate it right, and they can't understand, something's got to change. So like, good example. So depending on their learning skill, it's like, so Brian, do you understand what I'm trying to say? And she goes, yeah, they don't. And that's just it. If they don't, guess what? you better get the hell out of that relationship because it ain't going to ever change. It's going to be the same situation.
Yep.
I would just shut down when I got to the point where, why the heck are you going to keep trying to explain your feelings and how you feel to somebody that's not receiving and trying to say, well, is this what I'm understanding or not trying to understand? It makes it for very difficult. And so when you get rigid and you're in a relationship, that has something to do with your energy.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, that's why I have that communication, respect, and energy are super important to me.
Okay. Well, a couple things that stand out to me, and thank you for Karen, not only your generous sharing with us and being vulnerable, but Lynn also, because for me, it's like I need the context, right? And from the context of like what was said, I mean, give me a visual, right?
All right.
Because you can't do that. You can't relate to something that's general. And if you do, you're assuming even more than if you take number one, if the person respects you enough and they trust you enough to actually share what it is and they're as specific as possible. But for me, it's that the person feels like they're heard. Whether anything comes out of it, that they feel like they're heard and it lands. The person doesn't immediately respond back with something and deflecting what's coming at them, number one. Number two is that they just take on and take ownership of it. They may not know how, but they don't disregard it. And for me, when something lands with somebody that they're communicating, it's a powerful thing, but it takes a certain set of skills, tools, training, therapy, whatever it might be, to do that. But when somebody feels like they're heard and gotten, if you will, it's one of the most precious places to be, because if you're in a relationship, you're just with that person.
Right.
Instead of just, it's like, okay, the person was vulnerable to say what they did. You're still with that person, but there's some concerns, right? That person was emotionally or physically hurt. Okay.
Yeah.
And for that person to share that took something, if not a lot.
Oh yeah.
And so for it to like go in here and all of a sudden it's like, wow. But it's like, if something that is heartfelt and goes to your core, if somebody responds immediately, they're not getting it. It's a deflection, because the human brain doesn't work that fast. For somebody to, number one, feel what somebody's saying, but then to just be with it. Let me be in that person's shoes for a minute.
Exactly. And I love you saying that, be in that person's shoes, because the bottom line is for me, if we're communicating, Brian, in any situation, you go, Lynn, I don't like that. And I'd be like, well, why don't you like that? One, I'm going to do everything first, not only to be apologetic and say, I'm sorry, I did not know why that's affected, but also to make sure I would never do that, because I care about that person enough to never do. Correct. And, I might as well just say what happened. And the bottom line is, I was married for 16 years. And when I would be sleeping, I'd be abused. I'd be sexually abused. Wow. So I have a boyfriend for a long time, and you decide you're going to attack me or approach me when I'm sleeping and trigger something in my head, and that, don't think I'm bringing baggage. I'm telling you, that's something I can't help, that you can't do that to me. You can't, and you're going to turn it around to yourself. I mean, that's truly, that's cut and dry. And you feel like, well, blah, blah, blah. Dude, there's just certain things you just don't do, And so, needless to say, to me, it seemed clear, cut and dry that when I said this triggered things and I'm really uncomfortable and we need to talk about it, don't turn it around. Well, gee, I didn't know when else we were going to find time or this or that. Freaking talk to me. Don't dismiss, don't dismiss, and don't think it's just the way it's just not cool. Just not cool.
There's
just,
one more thing that I'll share that tugs at the heartstrings right now, is that with my ex, I remember saying, and I probably said it in other shows, but
thank you, Karen.
But it was Karen, it wasn't your fault, and you absolutely 100%, Karen.
Thank you.
It tugs at the heartstrings, and it's something that I had the bravery and courage to say to my ex. I said, there's nothing more than I can do to please you. Anything I do to please you, like flowers every week, and then, at first it's like my heart was like, that's what I do. Right.
Right.
You're always in somebody's thoughts if they matter to you.
Right.
But then after a while, it's like, man, my heart's telling me like, they don't care. They don't give a rip.
You're right.
And I'm like, well, so that's where I get stuck, because my authenticity is that I want to do it.
Right.
But it doesn't feel like it's really communicating or the person really cares.
And that right there is your sign that it's not a good relationship for you. It's not a real good fit. That's your energy telling you. I bring it back to energy, but that's your intuition and your energy and your gut saying, this is what I want to do, but it's not being received, and that's that we get in these relationships where when we see these signs, and the hardest and the worst thing you could do, people, because I've done it many times, when you see these signs and symptoms, you just either address them or get the hell out of them, because they're just not going to get any better.
It was a moment I'll never forget. Okay. Karen says, just know sexual assault is one's power being stripped away without one's consent. Wow. Well said. Well said, Karen. Well said.
You're welcome. And then let's see. Sandy says,
I had to learn the pause. I used to be quick to respond because I wanted to be there for them, but I didn't really listen well. Yeah. It's one of those things where, in any training about listening, it doesn't matter who it is that listen with the intent to understand. And then with the intent to respond.
Right.
Most people don't, they want to respond before the person's even done talking, and then they don't hear anything that they're saying. So
thanks for being here, Karen. I love you.
Karen. Thank you for your vulnerability and transparency.
Absolutely.
Excuse me. So that was something that I needed to share because it was on my heart. I've never had to say that to anybody, but it was just now I can be peaceful and free of that it's like, no matter what I did, it didn't make any difference to what I could do for that person to show my appreciation.
And I hope now that when you do flowers and stuff like that, that your girlfriend now really loves the things you do. See, you see,
different person, different experience, different vibe, and it's not for measurement. It's not to get anything.
Right.
It's that it just responds. There's a transference of feelings. Yep.
That's what I mean. We spend too much time, and when that door closed, you opened up another door, and I'm glad this door feels better to you. I mean, the chapter.
Okay. We got 2 left, and our show's going well. We have a lot of interaction, but we're cutting close on time. So what is your next one? Number 4. Quality.
All right, here we go. And my next one is honesty.
Honesty. Okay.
See,
and what did Sandra say? What did Sandra say there?
Sorry.
It takes
no,
it's okay. It takes training to get past that, and sure, absolutely, 100%. Yeah, you're welcome, Sandra.
Honesty.
Okay.
And I've always been honest with anybody I've been with about my past, because I don't want to taint any relationships. I mean, on anything, whether, intimate or not, or whatever, you have safe words, sex words, whatever words or whatever. But honesty is important for me to be vulnerable and share where I've come from. And that's like right at the front of a relationship, the honesty of, look, this is how it is. And, being open and not so honest that it's death's door or whatever, but just being honest so that later a situation doesn't come and then there's a trigger. And then, Karen's loving this segment. I love it. I'm so glad.
Thanks for being here.
So, honesty is important to me, because if I'm not honest and vulnerable about what I've been through, then it's not right, to say, because it's not right, to anybody to say, hey, I didn't know, you just don't do that. So being honest up front of where you're coming, and that's about honesty in their relationship, is their feelings, like good example, like you could be in a relationship and say, hey, I like giving flowers. Do you like getting flowers? I mean, I'm being honest because, just the honesty about what you like in a relationship and being honest about, and with all the parties I've done and all the bridal and bachelorette shows I've done and things like that, what the saddest thing to me is you'll have different people have different thoughts of what's going to happen in the bedroom per se, right?
Yeah.
Well, the sad thing is some people might want it really wild and then not, or whatever. And it's sad because they were not honest about that at the beginning of the relationship.
Right.
Then that becomes a problem later in the relationship.
100%.
So again, to me, honesty up front is so important on my list.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. My next one is trust. Man, like, you know, as Jeffrey Gitomer says, I mean, giving credit where credit's due, is that like leads to trust, trust leads to relationship. And, you know, if it's a sales environment or if it's a business, you know, but it's like, you know, you like somebody and then you trust them, right? There's a lot of interesting pieces to trust, is that it's always ongoing. In my opinion, and in my mind and in my heart, it's one of the most coveted places to be, right? Is that once you earn somebody's trust, you cherish it. You continue to hone it. It's not a one size fits all thing. And it's not, hey, I'm there. Okay, I'm done. No. That's where it starts, right? And you do what it takes, you know, to stay there if that person matters to you. And it's the reason why I put that above communication is because communication, if we're talking verbal or whatever, yeah, you have nonverbal communication, but then there might be assumptions perhaps because you don't know what the person is thinking. But trust is something that is, you know, intangible. It's not, you know, it happens over time. And for me, it's a phenomenon that is so important to me, because like lifelong friends, right? What makes people that way? That people you hold on to and you can tell them anything. They'll bail you out of jail late at night. They'll give you money if you needed to. They're there to pick you up when you're at your worst. Like a buddy of mine, a dear friend of mine, his name is Lucas, and he lives in Southern Illinois, and I'll never forget it. Is that when I packed up all my stuff where I used to live with my ex, all he said was to me, of words that'll resonate forever, is just say yes. We've got a bed for you. We've got anything you need. Just come here and get away from where you are. Just say yes. Those are words that I will never forget for as long as I live. And trust. You show up how you are. You don't apologize for being you. And, but just remember, and this is also something that's very near and dear to my heart, is that it could take you, and this is something that Jeffrey Gitomer says in one of his books, is that it can take a lifetime to create trust, but it can be gone, you know, in a very short period of time. And so such a coveted place to be in when it's in relationships. You know, when you're there, it's like, I have a trust with that person. Any which way I show up, anything that happens to me, I know that they're going to be there for me regardless. So, and moving to our last one, what's your fifth and final quality for our show today of a quality relationship?
Right, it's right there. It's scratchy. Trust.
Trust. Okay.
It's absolutely trust.
Okay.
Trust is something that you know, I trust this person to know that you know, when I give my heart or I give my friendship to anybody, you know, you can trust me to know that I'll keep your trust. I'll protect you. You know, I'll love you. I'll protect you. And trust giving back is trusting that, you know, some things are sacred and some things, you know, and like I said, when that trust is broken, you know, words are powerful. So when people use words with you and then you see them use it with others and they don't stick to their word and you trusted them, then the whole thing is broken. And without trust, you don't have anything in a relationship.
Yeah.
And so trusting, you know, like I like mending things between friends, and
Right.
I like seeing happiness. It's just the love and light in me. So you can trust that I'll try to come on behalf of the other. You know, like I'll see relationships and I'll see the stupidest little thing that they're misconnected, you know, and it has to do with bridal and bachelorette stuff too. You know, when I see these couples not realize, because I would talk to them one-on-one, the little things that if they would just go ahead and share with each other, you know, I get them. Sometimes that's why you have therapists, because they can see something that was so little in the conversation that could be
Yep.
so huge.
Yep.
And again, like being in that relationship where if they understood and trust me that I wasn't built, I was never attacking their character, never thought that this person didn't care about me. I knew they cared about me, but what was sad in the relationship to me is they didn't understand that when I was hurting or sad or upset in the relationship, I was talking about the things that bother me, like him being late all the time. It's like, dude, that disrespects me. That doesn't show me that you honor that I should come at the time that you say you're going to be there, or that we have, to me, it's trust. It's trust that if you love me that much, why can't you be on time? Why can't you whatever? And it would be perpetual conversation over these things.
Yep.
And again, it goes to show you they're not mine to begin with, because you're either share that communication and you trust somebody that when they say, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that again, you're trying to trust their words.
Yeah.
I mean, trust can come around in so many different ways. I trust you not to let that happen again. I trust you to understand that I don't appreciate that. I trust that I'm giving you another chance, and I trust that this time's going to be better. It's just redundancy, but when the trust is gone, it's very hard to repair, if ever.
Well, you bring up to me the Dr. Stephen Covey. He created this. I don't know exactly what it's called, but is that when you look at every relationship, or when you look at friendships or whatever, and it can apply to anything. It's a universal thing, but like you apply it to relationships, you apply a banking situation, deposits and withdrawals, right?
Mhm.
And so every relationship, look at it like anything they do for you, just because their heart is connected with yours without being prompted to, without a measurement, without any reciprocity, it's a deposit, right?
Mhm.
Now, it's obviously just like with money. The more money you put in, the less you take out, then, you have a surplus. But then if
Right.
you do the opposite, now, when we look at withdrawals, that would be like being late. They said that they were going to do the dishes and they didn't. They don't,
It's all
they're short with
contradictory
me
in
on the
terms.
phone. What's that?
Yeah. Contradictions.
Correct. It's
Yes.
things that move the relationship to an uncertain place, or it makes people feel sad, frustrated, disappointed. It's not the liveliness, it's not the positivity of where you want it to be from a loving and respectful nature. And so
Right.
that is a huge thing for me, where it's like, okay, cards, flowers, I always want to make sure that there's an abundance there, because that's who I really am, right? Now, if it's not you, then don't do it, because it's inauthentic. The
Right.
minute that the person finds out or feels that you're doing it for something other than what it's for, your trust, authenticity, likability, all that
Absolutely.
goes away. So, and then my last one, let's see here what Sandra says. Thanks so much, you two. Great information. Love watching and learning. Book is called Speed of Trust. Yep.
There you go.
That's Dr. Stephen
Way to
Covey.
go, Sandy.
So my last one is integrity. And man, all of these are so hard. That's why it's like a hierarchy, right? They're all important. But for me and my experiences, I live my life by integrity. My word is my bond, period. If you say something, and you don't do it, well, then you got to restore that, right?
Right.
And like yesterday, my girlfriend needed to be woken up at a certain time, and I didn't do it. Okay. And then there was
Oh, Brian.
yeah, I know. And then there was a dish I said I would take care of. I got overwhelmed with other stuff, and I didn't do it. Now, I restored it. I took a few minutes out of the day to say that, hey, I restore my integrity with you. I overextended myself, and I went out for my walk. I was not back in time. She needed to be up, right? So I wanted to complete it right in that moment, because I didn't want it to fester. I didn't want it to manifest as something that it shouldn't be. And
Did you make her late? Did you make her late?
No.
Okay,
She
good,
just wanted
good.
to get up. With her circadian rhythm, she didn't want to like get more sleep when, whatever,
Right.
and screw up her day,
Okay.
neurologically. And so, no, she
Or else
wasn't
I was
late
going
for
to be
anything.
mad. I was going to be mad at you. No, just kidding.
That's okay.
Us girls
no.
stick together.
No, but it's fine. is that, but I'm like, because in my life, at least what I've witnessed is that when you have disruptions and problems in relationships and whatnot, is that people don't know the root of it, but they know how they feel, right?
Right.
And all it takes is just an accumulation of small little upsets that are unresolved turn into a big problem like Velcro, right?
Right.
Like, when you have a piece of Velcro and you put it on things, it's going to attach things real quickly.
Yeah,
And
except for my big butt. We already talked about that.
well,
Yeah.
we don't need to, but
Oh, come on. I was laughing about it.
it's one of those things though, because unless somebody communicates their feelings, we think everything is great. So we're taking them at their word. I restore my integrity with you. Love that. Yeah.
She loves that.
It's one of those things that it's like, you just do, because when it's something simple, it's in your space. And it's
Right.
like, if you're not being honest and upfront at all times with the people in your life, if there's something in the way, there's a barrier, and you can't be authentically you and they can't be authentically themselves if there's like buffers or barriers in the way, kind of like your hands in front of your eyes, so yeah, it was that's integrity. My integrity means the world to me, and I know that I've studied a lot of people that are that were in military and whatnot. It's like, imagine dedicating your whole life to this discipline, integrity, honor, right? I mean, it lights me up. It lights me up because it's all about my actions and my word.
Yeah. So my 5 were trust, honesty, energy, respect, and communication.
And my 5 were humor or laughter, being real or authentic, communication, trust, and integrity. So yeah. And there's no right or wrong here. But so for Lynn, you want to pop up the question for everybody tomorrow?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cool. This one's like, whoa. Yeah.
Yeah. So like take on, what qualities are for you, just like what we did, I think that the more clear you can be where it's a number format, I think that it allows you to disregard not being clear, so what qualities are important to you in a relationship? You could break it down personal and professional, but as Lynn and I did, we just kind of looked at it overall because, we are the same person professionally as we are personally. So Sandra, thanks for the book recommendations for everybody.
Yeah.
And so for tomorrow, we want you to think about that one non-negotiable quality in a relationship for you. And if you'd like to share with us tomorrow when we meet up again, that'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. I want to thank you guys for participating. And we've constantly had about 10 people watching us at any given time. Awesome. And that's awesome. And again, when we realize that our experience is our experience, and we realize that talking about them, whether they're tough or not, may help trigger other things in people to realize, that we all go through stuff, and so today just reminded me, I love it. Today just reminded me that, I don't think I could ever explain the fact that the difference to somebody that's not listening to me and what the difference is. Oh, we are at 1:00. I have a noon show, Live, Love, and Laugh Out Loud at noon. And then this one comes on at 1 Eastern time. Eastern time. Yep. Monday through Friday, we're here. Except for what's going on Saturday. What are your plans for Saturday?
I'm going to a bar, I think.
Oh, that's funny.
What are you doing?
I'm probably going to go to a bar too.
Really?
Yeah.
Who might you meet there?
I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out. But maybe we should just do a live from where. Maybe we should do a live from wherever we're at on Saturday.
That sounds like a great idea.
Does it?
Yeah. So, will I be in with you?
I don't know. I don't know where you'll be, but I don't know. But
oh my God, I get to meet Lynn in person. Oh
yeah, after hours. So, thank you for that, Sandy. It's our pleasure.
Our pleasure, Sandy.
And I will join you. Yes, insights. I'm glad you're joining us.
So Lynn, do you want to share a little bit more about what we got cooking up, or do we want to keep everybody in a little bit of
suspense
until we have everything lined up and ready?
Well, we are probably going to hang out with a superstar guy named Bubba Bradley. He's been on Netflix, NBC. He's been with some rappers. He's done country stuff. He's Bubba Bradley. He's a really cool guy. He's actually a trucker right now, Monday through Friday. We might give him a call on Saturday at Bubba's Bar, have an after-hour thing. And this guy, man, he didn't send me his recipe last night. I hope he was okay. I got to check on him, but he's got some recipes for what is it? I was trying to tell my friend yesterday. I want to say it's pinnacle, but what is it? Pinnacle? What kind of alcohol does he use?
What Lynn is trying to say, while she gets her vernacular ready, is we will have, if our show is going to be on Saturday night with Bubba Bradley, and more information to come, but we are going to start at 8:30 Eastern, correct?
No, 9. We're going to meet a half an hour early.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, 9 o'clock Eastern.
9
to whenever, right?
Yeah.
And
Tapping
over the next
it
couple
2
days,
hours.
over the next couple days, we will have some things. If you really want to, when you're in your comfy, warm or cool house, depending on where you are watching us from, if you want to join us on Saturday night for an entertaining time, a bunch of randomness, fun, and just not knowing what's going to happen. That's what Saturday is going to be with Bubba Bradley. And we are going to have a signature cocktail for you from Bubba that if you would like to make that, to really make it personal, along with some snacks. So like these are Bubba's signatures. He's going to have a cocktail recipe and some snacks. So if you really want to get into that, really into that experience, we're going to have a drink recipe and some snacks for you to have so you can enjoy them with us.
I what I also like to say is that Bubba is talking to his celebrity friends. We don't know who's going to stop at this bar. I mean, it's going to be really interesting. And so, and you guys, our guest, you guys are all invited as far as we can have up to 10 people on a show. So you guys will, stay tuned. We might give out the invite to show up, candidly on where and when. Let us know. Yep. It's a great time. I will have popcorn. Oh yeah. Excellent. You'll want to, you'll have a popcorn. If I go to the bar, I don't know. I'm going to have to go.
And one thing I forgot to mention is that it's called the Pinnacle.
Pinnacle.
Vodka. Okay. Lynn, can you say Pinnacle? Pinnacle. Okay.
Pinnacle.
So on New Year's Eve, for those of you that were on Lynn's show with Bubba Bradley and then Mark Rodriguez was there, is that Bubba was having fun and he was quite thirsty that night. He was mixing a Pinnacle whipped vodka. There's a lot of vodkas that they make. Yeah. Can you
text that to me?
Sure.
I could go find it at the.
If you are a vodka fan or just want to harmonize, and then we're going to have, the snack as well. So when you're at the grocery store, if you want to harmonize with us, it's Pinnacle whipped vodka. And I know that he had Fanta. So that's that orange soda. There are other flavors. So he made a Pinnacle whipped vodka dreamsicle. So if that is of your liking and you're a vodka person or up for trying it, you don't have to buy a big bottle, just a small one. You can have Bubba's cocktail, but we will have that information for you tomorrow with the specifics of what that is. But the main ingredient is Pinnacle whipped vodka.
I would have gone to the liquor store with some whatever. So text that to me. So I go to liquor store. I say, hey, this is what I need. Not Pinnacle, but whatever that's called.
Pinnacle. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, not only does she not have the name of the vodka right, Pinnacle. I need Pinnacle. Oh, that's over in the snacks. Okay. Number 2 is that they have many flavors, so you might have pineapple upside down cake or something. It's like,
oh man. Yeah, there we go. So anyways,
Pinnacle
you guys
whipped. Yeah, Sandra put it in there. Pinnacle whipped vodka.
We got to get off of here. I'm incriminating myself. You see, and this is why the kids go, Mom, we should get you high or drunk someday, because I'm not high or drunk right now. See how I am? Can you imagine a little bit of that?
I've
Oh,
already
I
seen
can't.
this on New Year's Eve.
I think that tape got burnt in the fire or something. Anyways, we're out of here. Bye, people.